I remember there being this weird arc in Fat Trel's career where you were like with Master P and No Limit for a short period of time, right? How did that work?
Yo, it's crazy because no blogger ever asked me about it, but like
You had a little group. What was it called?
and
I
Louis
forget-
V Mob,
Yes, and who were there was another guy that I was
Alley
listening.
Boy.
Yes, Alley Boy was in it too. There we go. Okay.
So let me tell you how this came about. I had just got off my first tour, which was the Smokers Club tour with Juicy J, Pro Ever, Joey Badass, and them Smoke Dizza.
Legendary lineup. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah. That tour, amazing, man. Like, I still go watch the clips back on YouTube when I'm at home just drinking by myself. My wife might come downstairs like, you watching this again, boo? Like, yeah, boo, you don't understand. This shit was legendary. But anyway, I had just got off that tour, and I was at my homie Black House. He had a condo in Richmond because he was going to VCU. And my manager called me, he was like, yo, hold on, I got Master P on 3-way. So I was like, all right. But I'm like, I look at Black, like we was playing Madden, and I look, he was like, Master P, so we whispering and shit. So he connected the call, he like, yo. I'm like, yeah. And then Master P started talking. I'm like, this really Master P. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, he like, yo, I'm shooting a movie. I think he was trying to buy the rights to film Menace to Society 2. And he was like, I want you to be in it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, bet. So I'm like, I'm young as shit, like, acting? Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yeah,
like, acting wasn't even on my radar. I'm still trying to come up as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, bet. So he like, yeah, man, you know who Alley Boy is? I'm like, yeah, I heard of Alley Boy. He from Atlanta. I don't know him personally, never met him, but yeah, I heard him. He was like, all right, bet. I want you and him to come to California and let's sit down and have some meetings about this movie. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So we fly to Cali. We get our shit together probably like 2 weeks later. We fly to Cali. And when we land, Master P had a video shoot. He's shooting a video at some mansion and shit. So, okay, cool. We sit down, we start chopping it up about the movie. And he was like, this is what I want to do. This is the role I want you to play. The scripts are nothing is not written up. Of course, you would have to be put in acting school, you know, just to mold yourself kind of. You know, I want you to act like yourself and who you are, but you're playing a role. So it's still some things about the movie industry that you're going to need to learn. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, shit, this music's in my ears, in the back of my mind. He don't know how happy I am, but I'm playing it cool, humble. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. You know, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah.
Menace to Society 2 sounds pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he was like, look, I'm going to need you to move out here. So I'm like, looking at my manager like, what? He was like, yeah, just, you know, like a year or two. I'm like, all right. And, you know, I don't know. I'm young, man. I'm like 22, 23 at the time. I don't know nothing about the cost of living. All that grown-up shit ain't even in my mind. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, whatever. So he was like, look, we're going to be paying, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars a month. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? And but when I moved there, bro, the movie never got brought up. And so, you know, me and Alley Boy, we rap. Master P is a rapper. So the natural place for us to always meet up at is at the studio. Outside of going out to eat and all that shit, we always met up at the studio and we had talked and had conversations. But Alley Boy at the time was signed to Atlantic. I specifically remember us sitting in the house and his videos would come on MTV Jams. Like, Alley Boy was lit at that time. I didn't have a deal. I'm independent. I don't have a deal. You know what I'm saying? So Alley Boy was really cool with the situation, and I always thought I felt like we was recording too much music because I'm like, we here for the movie, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been living here for about 7 months. I haven't started an acting class. We no longer spoke about the scripts. The movie never ever came up. And you know, we doing video shoots and photo shoots, and we got shirts pressed up that say Louis V Mob, and he calling us the Louis V Mob. And you know, outside of the money that he was paying me monthly, I was receiving nothing for all the music I'm putting out, you know what I'm saying? And so, me and my homie Black, my brother, man, I told you, like, he shot my first video. He always played like a management / like assistant type role, but he's smart as fuck. You know, he in college, like he graduated, like he's super smart as fuck. He know a lot of shit I don't know. And he always used to sit around outside of us having fun and all that. He used to always sit around and was like, I just feel like something ain't right about this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a 90s baby. I grew up on Wayne, Gucci, and Ross. Those is the main 3 rappers I listened to over and over and over growing up as a kid. I'm not from the era where I was a fan of Master P. So it was always business with me. My manager was at that time, he was a super fan of Master P. A lot of things he seen, he let slide because he was a fan. And I was like, you know, I respect him as a businessman, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a fan of his art, so I don't view him the same. I'm looking at him as a business, and technically we're not doing the business that we were supposed to be here for.
And if this is like 2009, you're like 10 years removed from the height of Master P really having like a big presence in rap. Let's be real.
Exactly, right. But he's still the
still
mogul,
a legend, but for sure,
mogul,
yeah.
Businessman, clothing company. He played in a couple NBA games, a lot of movies, sold millions of records. I respect him for that. You know what I'm saying? I would have respected it if he said, hey, you know, I want to shoot a movie and I want to like create a group with like me, you, and Ali Boy. I would have thought about it. Like, you know, that would have been a thought, but he never said that. And so we doing all these shows and shit, and he was doing shows that I think he did like A3C in Austin, where he headlined it, and like we performed a lot on that show. We didn't receive nothing. I ain't say nothing. In the back of my mind, I wanted to, but I ain't say nothing. And then the last straw was like Black had showed me that one of those albums was on iTunes. It was, you know, this is before Apple Music and Spotify and all that. Like the album was for sale on iTunes. And Ali Boy got a deal, so I'm like, Ali, you know about this? And he was like, nah, I ain't know about it. But shit, fucking nigga, we on an album with Master P. And I'm not salting Ali Boy down in no way, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that Ali Boy was getting money. He was booked heavily. Like I said, we used to sit down and he'd pop up on the TV screen like he was lit at that time. I wasn't where I wanted to be in my career, and I felt like I was kind of sort of wasting time out here doing this, you know what I'm saying? And then when I seen he put the album up without paperwork or without me getting anything from it, I just felt like that was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so that was around the time where my Brody had killed himself. He killed himself while fucking with them shrooms. He died in New York. He was a friend of, I ain't gonna say his name, but he was a friend of Joey Badass, with the Pro Era crew. And he killed himself. And I remember saying, man, I'm gonna go to his funeral. And I said, man, I ain't coming back to LA. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said to myself. And I said that to Black, but I ain't tell my manager, I ain't tell P, I ain't tell Ali Boy or none of that. And I'm telling you, I left TVs, PlayStation, shoes, clothes. I left a lot of shit out there, and I went to the funeral in New York, and I just said, man, you know what? I ain't going back. And I just didn't go back. And my heart wasn't there at that time, and I was trying to do something else. I believe Sosa had just got his deal with Interscope, and I was looking for a deal, you know, or a large lump sum of money where I could take care of my family and be put into a situation where I can work and show how great of an artist I can be. And I felt like that situation wasn't providing me with that. And then when I left, I seen he had done an interview with like the Breakfast Club or something. I can't remember who it was. And it was him and Ali Boy. And they was like, yo, where Fat Trel at? And he was like, Master P said something like, you know, Fat Trel, man, he didn't have any patience. You know, he didn't believe in what I had going on. And, you know, he was just trying to get a deal. Like Fat Trel just trying to sign a deal so he could get some money. And I looked at that like, that was a form of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't call his phone or nothing. I ain't had no conversation with him or nothing because I've been around P and I know what type of person he really is. And, you know, if I respected him as a man, I would have felt some type of way about it. But me knowing what type of person, like being around him and knowing what type of nigga he is, I was just like, I just let it slide. Like, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that serious. And even though he lied to their faces. You know what I'm saying? Because there was never supposed to be a Louis V mob. We was never supposed to record a single record together. Right. That was not in the plans.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up because that was the time in your career where you had the most momentum, and you, like, realistically, that opportunity cost of kind of going and doing this other weird thing and sort of confusing your fans and not putting out your own content. I mean, that definitely probably wasn't great for your career at that time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I understood that. And you know, I'm new in this music game, but every day I'm learning more and more, and I'm meeting people and I'm shaking people's hands, and I'm finding out that you know, he was telling labels that, nah, he signed a No Limit, he's a No Limit artist. That wasn't true. Never signed a single document with Master P. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once I left and people knew that I wasn't fucking with him no more, that's when all the labels were coming like, yeah, so how did you get out of it, man? Like, you know, he's usually difficult with his artists. And I'm like, I was never a No Limit artist. We never did paperwork. And they was like, really? Even, you know, if you remember, I just got signed to Maybach after that. And Ross was like, man, that nigga told me you was his artist. I'm like, nah, I don't have no legal contract paperwork with him. I never did any.
Because there is a thing in the music industry where as soon as you find out, like everybody will be swarming around an artist, and then they find out he signed, and they're all like, oh, all right, they just give up. Like you just hear that he signed to somebody, and they just give up. All right, fine. You got him. Cool.
Yeah, so that was a weird time for me, man. But you know, it is what it is.
It's crazy because it makes me think about his son kind of going at it with him in the media and everything, and his son kind of saying like, "This is bullshit." Like he was like, a lot of this stuff that y'all believe about him is kind of a mirage.
Yeah,
which has been kind of
so when I read that, of course I would never. I'm the type of nigga, you know. I know what I know. I know what I know about a lot of these niggas and women. So when I read it. When it came across my screen, I probably was having a drink. I might have been taking a shit, whatever I was doing. When it came across my screen, I stopped and I looked at it. I said, man, trust me, I know. Like, yeah, and that was it. I ain't had nothing to comment on it. I was just like, yeah, I know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's going to take for somebody that close to let the world know something like that, because a lot of people look at him a certain type of way, and it's just like, you know.
Damn, that's crazy. That's a wild thing to have lived through.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look back on it with regret, or is it a learning experience?
You know, I don't regret a lot of shit, bro. Like, you know, unless it's real serious. Like, I regret leaving my family and going to prison. I regret not being there for my brother when he was killed, you know, due to the prison system. Those are things I regret. That, I don't really regret it. I met a lot of great people during that time. You know, I was young and living in L.A., I met my son's mom, so I can't regret that. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good living experience. I met a lot. I mean, I learned a lot by being with Ali Boy, and then Ali Boy would take me to Atlanta, and then that's when I met Trouble, and I met all the Bloods in Atlanta. So, you know, it helped me build a relationship with Ali Boy outside of P, and you know, then me and Trouble got close. So, a lot of great things happened during that time. It's just like people don't know that. Whatever the fuck P was on or what he had going on or what he was trying to do, it was just like trying to do it under the table. Like, I'm bringing y'all out here on with the thought that y'all gonna do this, but this is what I'm really trying to do.
Yeah.
And I was just too young to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, we just hit 400,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. So if you want to help us out, click subscribe, get us to 500K. Yeah.